Hi everybody, welcome to Let's Play Star Ruler 2. I am Sir Tristan, and this is a brand new series, a game that just came out about a week and a half ago, I think, maybe 2 weeks ago. Star Ruler 2. I played a lot of Star Ruler 1, not very good at it, to be completely honest. I want to give Star Ruler a try. It's a 4X game, which 4X is a kind of a common term that stands for explore, expand, exploit, and exterminate, all those EX words. And that's kind of what you do in Star Ruler. As you can imagine, you rule the stars. And I wasn't planning on adding a fourth video or a fourth series to my rotation, but the developers were posting on Steam saying that, the sales have been down and they had to close up. They didn't want to, but after, in about a year's time, basically the money's going to run out. And I really don't want that because I really like this series. It's very complicated, very in depth, but there's a ton of options, a ton of choices on how to play, and the music is fantastic. Let me just turn this up. Alright. Now I've played the tutorial. I've played a few, not full games, but I've started a few games, played them to maybe 20 or 30 minutes. So I kind of have a little bit of a grasp on the basics. So let's go ahead and dive into new game. At the top are your default races. This is so far in the future that these guys over here, the Terrakin, are the continued dominion of man. So we apparently have evolved past our human state into this kind of, I don't know, armor exoskeleton creature, something like that. There's a bunch of other races as well. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in and customize the Terrakin. You can customize your race down here in the lower right. There's a lot of things to choose from, again, and I'm not going to look at every single thing, but I think I'll go through here real quick. Choose my color. I guess the default is fine. Choose my emblem and choose what my ship skins are going to look like. There's a bunch of different ships per skin. I think I like this look down here. So let's customize this race. We will name it the Tristanians, and I think that this portrait looks fine. Weapon skin. I believe this is what your lasers, your weapons are going to look like. So I think orange is fine. And then we'll pick government type. Now government type basically just kind of changes your starting conditions. So as you can see, an empire government has a bonus nearby asteroids to harvest. You start out with a heavy carrier with a support fleet, and then you're starting cards. Cards are how you negotiate with the other races in the game. There's like a galactic senate that everyone joins as soon as they're discovered. Actually, they actually start it, even if you haven't discovered other races, you kind of know of them, and so you all are a part of this galactic senate. And you use these cards. It's kind of like a card game in a way, where you negotiate cards to get favor, and then you can use that to either peacefully occupy another planet or prevent someone from attacking you. Like force a peace treaty if the galactic senate votes on it, things like that. I think I want to start off with some extra money, perhaps. And you can just choose random as well. But I think I want to start out with a capitalist government. Makes sense. FTL, this is, I think, the coolest part, the thing that I'm most excited to deal with. You got 5 options here. Each one of these, again, it's sci-fi, obviously. But you've heard of these tropes before. There's possibly some truth, probably no truth to some of these, but hyperdrive. Obviously, every single ship in your whole fleet is going to have hyperdrive. This is very costly to put FTL on every single ship that you have, but it basically means any ship can jump to any point. Very useful. Fling beacons. Enormous beacons capable of flinging ships away from them at vast speeds. Now, fling beacons only work in one direction, so you're going to want to build a lot of them, and you have to build them to get back as well. Gates are similar to fling beacons. However, you have to have an opening gate and a closing gate in order to travel between them. So it's similar to fling beacons, but it's perhaps a bit more reliable because you can always travel there and travel back. Slipstream, very cool. This is probably the one that I'm going to play. Specialized ships can open up tears in space and time and allow the fleet to jump through to any spot. The further away, the more FTL energy, basically, it costs. And then you have sublight, which means no FTL. You never discover FTL. Now, it's obviously not going to take you 25,000 years or whatever it is to travel to the next star system. but things are slower. That said, I'm going to go with Slipstream. I think it's just too cool not to have. And then we can pick our type of life. And these also have a huge impact on how you play. It basically changes your entire play style. Verdant, or terrestrials, the default, no particular effects really. Verdant, you have to attach sinew to your ships. It makes your ships kind of this organic, living thing, like perhaps the Zerg or the Tyrannid might do. You need sinew. You can't build cities at all, and you have to construct stalks on planets to use pressure, which I'll explain what pressure is later. But linked, you have to build mainframes in orbit in order to basically. These are kind of like the Borg, I guess you could say, from Star Trek. You have to build mainframes in orbit so that your fleets are effective and they can bounce information. I guess if they're all sharing this global mind, then it will bounce information all around. And fleets that are near mainframes are stronger than fleets that are far away. Computer control subsystems are available from the start, which means you don't need people to fly your ship. You can just let computers do it. And then other emergency supplies available from the start. Devout, sufficient altar buildings have to be constructed equal to your empire's total population. And if you don't hit that, then there's some penalties, but you get more population on every planet, basically. Yeah, if you don't have enough altars for your population, you become godless, and they don't work as efficiently. Evangelical, you build star temples, and you can send missionaries out to nearby planets, and you can you don't really convert them, but I guess you just proselytize, and you get specific bonuses from that. Mechanoids, you have to actually build your population because you're all robots. You have to build population. You can't just grow it naturally, and so, but you can instantly teleport population between planets in order to colonize. So you don't have to send colony ships out. You can just beam more robots over to a planet, and they don't need any food or water to level up planets. And I'll explain leveling up planets once we get in the game. You also can't use the shipyards or the dry docks to build things out into space. Star Children. This is very similar to. Oh, I forget the name of the race now. From Mass Effect, Tali. I forget what her race is called, but it's basically like that. They live in these motherships that travel throughout the stars, and they can deposit habitats in orbit around planets, but they can never land on the planets. So they don't really construct buildings on planets, which is how you use pressure and how you gain the benefits of pressure, which again I'll explain. So I'm not too sure how the Star Children are equal to everyone else. I'm not sure, but we'll just go with terrestrial. I don't want to make this too complicated. One, not for everyone watching, and two, not for me, because I'm still a bit new to this game. So we'll just say, okay, so there we go. We got, well, ignore that. That's actually an old name. Let's, different name here. Do Sir Tristan. There we go. Government type, yeah. And then we will, let's just add some random ones. There. Game options, there's a ton of customization here. How often do planets appear? How often do anomalies, remnants, which are basically just AI controlled factions, but they don't grow and expand. They're remnants. They're leftovers from an old, I think, robotic society. How often does everything show up? How big the systems can be, how many planets on each system. Enable pirates, enable diplomacy events, remnant aggression, which means they'll actually seek you out, which can be kind of dangerous. Start with a fully explored map. No, let's turn that off. I like there to be a bit of mystery. Civilian trade ships. This is just kind of an option. I don't think that you gain anything by having civilian trade ships, but you might lose. I think enemies can raid them, and so it's just another gameplay feature. Disable starting fleets. I don't like that a lot. Victory limit. No, I don't think so. And then Revenant parts, which if you collect 4 Revenant parts from across the galaxy, it's like an alternate win condition. So that's very cool. Galaxies. Here's another amazing thing about this game. The scope can be as large as your computer can handle it. You can have galaxies with thousands and thousands and thousands of stars. You can have 2 galaxies with thousands and thousands and thousands of stars. My understanding, and this is how Star Ruler 1 worked, so Star Ruler 2 may not work exactly the same, but in Star Ruler 1, you could build a ship as large as you want it. It could be as large as a planet. It could be as large as a star. It could be as large as a solar system from one planet to another. Obviously, it would be huge. It would take forever to build, but there was no limit. You could build these massive ships that could destroy stars and that would wipe out planets, and it could even destroy the heart of a galaxy, I guess the supermassive black hole there, whatever's there in the middle. And it would just obviously wipe out a large portion of the galaxy itself. You could do all that in Star Ruler 1, and I believe that's all in here. I've not seen it. I've not gotten to it yet. We may try. Who knows? We'll see. So I think what we'll do is we'll start with a spiral galaxy. We got 4 people here, so let's do... what would be a good number? Maybe 20 each? So 80? Well, let's do 80. 80 for the spiral galaxy. And you can determine spacing, so how far away the planets are from one another. We'll leave it small, that's fine. I'm going to go ahead and add another galaxy, but let's add a dumbbell galaxy to that. And let's make this a bit smaller. Let's just say 40. Perfect mirror. Force both sides of the galaxy to be a perfect mirror. No, that's okay. I don't think that would be correct. Cool. And so now our game is set up. We can press start. Warning, you're creating a large map of more than 25 systems per empire. Your gameplay experience may be negatively affected. I believe it says this regardless of how strong your system is. I don't think my system will have a problem. So let's just jump in. So it's generating the galaxy. Alright, and here we are. We are in the spiral galaxy, and over here is the corkscrew. Now there is a planet somewhere. Yeah, there's the Cloa. Every planet, every system's given a random name, obviously. Cloa is the black hole. Here's the dumbbell galaxy here. It's a bit smaller. You might have one race maybe starting over there. And then here we are. Right here. We have our slipstream generator ship. Now remember, this is specific to my FTL faction, or what I chose for FTL faction. And then here, I need to unpause it to let them all take formation. There we go. And there's my first fleet, my default fleet. The way that combat works in this game is every small ship, or every ship really, every ship has to be in a fleet. Gunships, beam ships, gunships, heavy gunships, they're what's called support ships, and they support one larger kind of boss ship. If you look in the bottom left, you can see the stats for the fleet, the health of the fleet, the strength, how much offense it has, the supply as well. Your fleet can run out of bullets, so you do have to make sure your supply is taken care of. It's very important to remember. Now here are the planets. The way that this game works is you have to control the flow of resources in order to make planets stronger. What I mean by this is, here's my home planet, and it has on it, if you go mouse over the bottom left, it has both meat, which is food, and water, which is required for leveling up. In order to level up to level 2, I need another food resource other than meat. It has to be different, and any one tier 1 resource. So if you look around, look, here's a tier 1 resource right here. Chemicals. So what this means is I have to get chemicals to level 1, and then I can export it here to my other home planet, and then this planet will become level 2. The level of planets basically just means how large they are, how big the population is. You can see population in the lower left. The higher the population, the faster things are going to be built, the more money it's going to make. I believe level 5 is the highest that it can go, and for each level 5 planet you can build a wonder on that planet, and wonders have obviously very wide sweeping changes to what happens, similar to other wonders in games like Civilization. So let's go over the top real fast. You obviously have your speed indicators here. You can speed it up, you can pause, you can slow down. Just keep it paused for now. Here you have your money. Star Ruler 2 works pretty differently than most other games. There's basically a budget cycle. Every 3 minutes you gain a new budget, which is this number here in the bottom right, 610k. I have a bit more because I picked a capitalist empire. So my number is a bit higher. So I have 950k just this first round to spend. So you spend this money down, and every cycle you gain that much back. So you have to be mindful of how much money you're spending and how much you add to your maintenance. Basically, maintenance will bring down your budget number, and so every cycle you will get less. Population basically equals money. So right now I have only one fleet, which is not very big, and 3 population, providing 60k, and then there's a default amount as well, which yeah, planetary income 760k, which I'm not sure exactly how they get that number. This may update. This will probably update once I unpause it for a minute. But anyway, every single building, every single fleet costs maintenance. So you don't want to do that. You don't want to set it too low, because then every budget cycle you won't have enough money for anything. This right here, this button allows you to basically subsidize your spending. For every 350,000 that you don't spend, you will generate these 5 icons here. The first one, welfare, converts money into influence. Influence is used in the diplomacy tab, which I'll look at in a minute. You could do welfare, or you could do subsidizing power, which converts 350k into energy. There are anomalies spread out all over the place. I don't have any anomalies discovered yet, but there are probably a lot. And anomalies all require energy. There's dozens and dozens and dozens. There's a lot of them, for sure. And they all require energy, and you don't start out with any energy generation, but you can get some. Research grants probably just makes sense into research generation, which is this number here, or this symbol right here, which you use to research new technologies. And then this symbol here is actually your FTL energy, which will always, if you have FTL technology, it will always be going up. You can increase it. You can't actually funnel money directly into it, however. You can spend 360 or 350k of unspent money on labor on your homeworld. Every homeworld, well, I mean, obviously everybody has a homeworld, but by default, this homeworld is generating 4 labor per minute, and labor is spent, as you can see here, to build ships. A battleship would take 69.6 labor, so 17 minutes to build, basically. And then the last one is combat readiness, which converts that unspent money into defense generation. It's global defense generation. What defense generation is I can go in and I can just tell, as the government, I can just say, build a fleet, do this, and I can fly it around. But with defense going up, global defense going up, planets will automatically create these support ships, these smaller support ships here. And I can then use them to just either defend the systems if I'm under attack, or funnel them into attack fleets. So instead of going into a planet, let's say, and then building a heavy carrier and then a ton of support ships like this, I could just build the heavy carrier, wait a little while, and then planets will automatically generate ships to kind of move into that fleet. So that's very cool. In a lot of ways, you can encourage your population, your civilian population, to do a lot of the work in this game for you. Things like building buildings to generate research points, or to generate energy, or to generate, it's called influence. Yeah, influence can be done depending on how you move these resources around. So let me talk about that for a quick second. And I know I'm throwing a ton of information at this. This is just the opening, so it's halfway tutorial, I guess, if anybody just doesn't know what this game is about or how it plays. So let's look at this tier 1 resource called chemicals. Remember, in order to level up my home planet, I need a tier 1 resource of any kind. So chemicals provides 3, and it shows the purple research icon. So 3 research pressure. Now I mentioned pressure when I was explaining what government types did, I believe. Pressure basically, well, it is exactly what it sounds like. It pressures the civilian population to develop buildings on the planet that will add to that resource. So that's probably the easiest way to explain it. So chemicals, which adds research pressure, when exported to this planet, will pressurize or will put pressure on the civilians to build research buildings. And those research buildings get added automatically to my research pool. Each planet has a certain limit of pressure, so it's usually equal to population. There are some races that work out a little differently, but obviously I have 3 population here, so I can support 3 pressure. Anything going over that pressure cap, I get large, gigantic diminishing returns on, which is bad. We don't want that. So what else can I talk about here about the home planet? Loyalty. This is kind of how how systems get taken over. The higher the loyalty, the longer it takes to take over. I believe you just automatically gain loyalty over time, and when your planet is under siege, you lose loyalty. And if all your planets get taken over, then that's it. You lose control of that system. I believe that loyalty will actually shift control over to the sieging force, the sieging race. But you can, instead of sieging, I believe you can bombard the planet once you get certain technologies that basically just destroy all the life on it. Kind of rough, but that's how it goes. Looks like we have a few asteroids that are one's gonna supply ore, and this one's gonna supply. It's just gonna add labor to my home planet, and that's basically the game. You can explore all these stars. There's again, I think 80 here, and then 40 here. So let's start with a bit of colonization. I'm going to explain these other tabs in a little while. It's a lot to take in, so I think I've kind of explained enough for this episode. So let's actually do some things. Go ahead and unpause it. Now, again, in order to level up this planet, I need a level 1 resource of any type. In order to get this level 1 resource, this planet also has to be level 1. Your home planet is level 1 by default. But any new planet you colonize, so let's go ahead and select our home planet and colonize. And as you'll see, this is going to start sending colony ships. I am losing 1 billion of my population. Basically 1 billion population will leave to colonize the new planet. We'll speed up time a little bit just to get them there quickly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then you can see the ring around there. Each time I guess 1 million or 100 million population shows up, I guess it would be 100 million per ship. Maybe not. Maybe they're sending more than 10. This ring is going to increase a little bit. And once it's all the way up, we're colonized. So now we have control of Tertial 4, but the chemicals are in red. Why? Because Tier 1 resource requires a level 1 planet to produce. We have a level 0 planet. In order to get a level 1 planet, we need water of any type and food. Thankfully, we just so happen to have food here, fish, and water. So we're going to have to colonize. We've regained half of the population that we sent off, so I think we're safe to go ahead and colonize another planet. So we'll speed it up. And I should probably be exploring with my ships, actually. So let me get my slipstream. Actually, does this one have slipstream on it? It does not. It doesn't look like it does. No. So maybe my slipstream generator will be my scout. I think that actually makes sense. Excuse me, I had to get a drink there. Okay, so I was just looking at the planets real fast to see which one I would want to explore. Let's see, I probably want to explore down the spiral, because for sure this is going to be one way. I'm not going to be able to jump, I don't think, from here to over here in the spiral, unless I could have the wormhole in my in my spiral of this to jump down to this dumbbell. We'll see. It might be. I'll only find out by exploring. So let's go ahead and take our ship and we'll move it over here. Get it out of the way of the planet. As far as I know, too, these planets do actually rotate around the sun. I don't think that the spiral as a whole rotates. I don't think that it orbits the center. But for sure, these planets will orbit around the sun here in the middle. Anyway, let's go ahead and open the slipstream generator, and you basically tell it where to jump to. And as you can see, my FTL cost is going up with distance. So Here it's just 70. Way over here, 200, 122, which I have plenty. If you look here, I've got plenty. I gain 1 per second anyway. So I can basically do a jump about that distance every 2 minutes. So I'm going to unpause, and you'll see the slipstream generator ship is going to open a tear. Come on, open your tear. There it goes. So there's the tear. And it's got its momentum basically from when it was moving earlier that was carrying it forward. So now I've got another slipstream here, and it's going to last for 2 minutes and 20 seconds. Looks like actually even opening a slipstream explored the planet for me. That's actually really interesting. It's like a keyhole I can see through. So this has water, 2 waters, and phasite, which is not a leveled resource, but it is a resource that will add resource pressure. So I can basically export this without having to level up this planet, which is very cool, very good to know. Once you've explored a planet, you can see the connection, which looks like actually these two don't even have a connection, but this one does. So maybe this might be the planet that I want to focus a lot of my defenses on, because if they have to come through here to explore or to find my area, I may have to come through here. Either way, this planet, the Curie star, looks like it might be the gateway to the rest of my spiral. Let's find out. Can we open another? Let's open another slipstream. Okay, I can't go that far, but I can go this far. So we'll open up another one. While I'm doing that, while that's building up, remember that I want to export this this fish to my my chemicals planet. So let's go ahead and right click and we will export. And as you can see, the line drawing there, if we select the planet we're exporting to, sure enough we have fish down at the bottom. So now all we need to level up is 1 water resource. And this planet will stay at level 0. It will just kind of sit here forever. It doesn't really... Oh, excuse me. Had to cough there. It's unfortunately just going to suck 80 income from us per turn, just to be there. Just to have that 1 billion colony on it. That's unfortunately the cost of leveling up planets, which is fine. Our home planet has the 3 population on it again, so we're going to colonize. Looks like we've got our second slipstream open. We got a lot of tier 2 resources on this planet. Supercarbons, which adds 12 labor pressure. So if I export supercarbons to whatever planet I export it to, it's going to get a huge labor boost. And there are some others as well as a little grain. I think I might just... there's also a Revenant fleet over here. Looks like 2.4 strength, a good deal stronger, I think, than I am now. 1.7, yeah. So that's not going to be too good. So can we just move this guy? Yeah, let's just fly this slipstream ship. We'll just fly it over. Where are you going? Oh, he's actually going to slipstream, travel to here, and then just fly down, which is fine. We can always slipstream back. So there he goes, and now he's here. And he's just kind of going to use non-FTL travel. And again, it's not going to take 25,000 years just to cross, because that would be an awful, awful design decision. Alright, this planet's about halfway done. We'll speed up time. There we go. So now we have our entire home system colonized. And you can see here's something really cool. In the upper right corner, it is showing us basically everything that we've discovered and everything that we can do with our planets. Managing resources by right-clicking on here and going here and right-clicking here, that would be a big waste. That would be tough to do, to manage. So up here, instead, the top row is everything that you can export. The second row is everything you cannot export, but will be able to in the future. So I can just click here on this water and export. And it will disappear here once I unpause, as you can see. So both disappeared. Both the water that I was able to send was sent to here, and now, as you can see, chemicals is no longer red, so it can be sent. However, in order to export that material, we need 2 billion more population. So all I can do is unpause, let nature do its thing, and before too long, I will have more population. Alright, we're about to reach the Curie system. Just kind of using the momentum. Momentum is a part of this game as well. This ship will actually, once it enters the system, I believe it's going to have to turn around and decelerate, basically, in order to remain in the system. Am I wrong? Are you not decelerating? Okay, well, it looks like it didn't need to. Okay, so let's take a look at our connections. So yes, it looks like the Curie system is going to be our main defensive location. They're going to have to come in through Oompa, star A. Oh, there's actually a dual star here. Very cool. I bet they probably rotate around each other too. Now my budget did tick over as I was talking earlier and colonizing planets, and I did have some excess go in. The excess was right here in the diplomacy. So I've got 2 out of 4 maximum diplomacy, which is good. You want diplomacy. This here, remember I was talking about energy basically being required to do any anomaly or activate any energy, any anomaly or access any kind of special feature to the systems here. This orbital frame constructor is one example. Create a frame that an orbital can be constructed on top of for reduced build and labor costs. So if I needed to build like a defensive platform here, I can turn this using 500 energy into a build platform. Protoplanet, form a protoplanet. I believe that's right here. Yes? Yeah, 900 energy. I could form an extra planet, and it would gain a random resource. So there's a bunch of different stuff. Almost every single planet has something like this. That may not be true. Maybe not every single one, but the large majority. I've explored, what, 4 planets? And I have 4 systems explored, and not planets, but systems. And I have 4 available. So there's a lot. So energy is very important. Now I still cannot export, or I still cannot level up this planet. I still need 1 more food. So let's zoom out and find a food. There's grain here. There's no revenants here either. And I do have a, well, the slipstream's about to close. That's not gonna matter. So that might be a good idea. Is there food down here? There is food here in the Curie system. And again, this is going to be my big defensive place. So I think I really want to colonize here instead. Oh, there are remnants. But, yeah, a remnant station, looks like. It's actually a little bit of frame rate loss there. Maybe this maybe this is too big. When I looked out across the expanse there, I got a little bit of frame drop. So, if anything, if I keep when I keep going, I might just restart and make the systems, make the galaxy a bit smaller. Are we safe to colonize here? I don't know. I don't think we are. Oh, that's kind of cool. I like that. The rings on that system there. You can get pretty close to planets, as you can see. Looks pretty good for being able to zoom out so far as well. I think I can risk it. I think I can take the chance. Let me go back to my home planet of Tartil 1, and I will straight up colonize here. Okay, take 3 minutes, which I can speed up. You can see my colony ships go flying across the great expanse. Actually, you know, I should have probably slipstreamed back to my home territory, and they would all be able to travel through there much quicker. But that's okay. They're colonizing now. It looks like the Revenant system, or the Revenant ships, are not going to attack, which is good. Okay, so now I'm colonized, and again, it shows up here. I can now export my my chemicals, so I'll go ahead and export that to my home planet. And I can export the food as well, the grain from the other system. So I'll export grain. And so now, as you can see, my requirement for leveling up has changed. I no longer need food and a tier 1 resource because I have them now. So when I unpause, I'm going to need to go up to 8. And I've already started the climb. As soon as you go past 3 to 8, it's going to start increasing. So let's take a look here. So look, we have 4 pressure capacity now out of 3. and that's going to once our population reaches higher, this will go up. See, it just went up. So I have 4 pressure, and you can see right here what's causing pressure here. And it looks like we have a bonus exotic atmosphere. So that's where this looks like that's where our. So yeah, so that makes sense. By default, this chemical is exporting 3 pressure to our home system. However, the atmosphere of that planet, the exotic atmosphere of this planet, looks like maybe not this planet, maybe not that planet, maybe it's this planet. Let's see. This planet has a moon. I could build a moon base. That's no moon. That's a space station. So it looks like my planet. Nope, I'm wrong again. It's this planet. Our grain planet from the Curie system, as you can see here, has an exotic atmosphere, which is also exerting 1 research pressure. So I have 4 on my home planet. And as you can see, look, it's already happening. The population is pressured into building a university, which is currently under construction. And as soon as it finishes, it will generate pressure, or it will generate research points, which you'll see appear right here. There you go, it just finished. So now we have 0.72 research per second, and that will start climbing up. So pressure in here, they're building another. I'm not sure how many pressure. Oh, uses 1 pressure. So they're going to eventually need 4 universities in order to satisfy the pressure that I'm basically putting on them to provide research facilities for us to use, or for our civilization to use, really. And that's how the pressure system works. The pressure system was probably the most complicated thing for me to understand. And I'm still getting the hang of it, but I think I'm going to go ahead and call it here for this episode. It's a bit longer than I normally like to do. I like to keep it at about 30 minutes because, attention spans and everything, you don't want to be sitting around for an hour or 45 minutes watching a video. You got things to do, which I understand. So I'm going to go ahead and call it here. Thanks, guys, so much for joining me. I might reduce the size of this, or maybe it may be the fact that there's 2 instead of 1, or maybe I just need to explore more to kind of expose maybe what's hidden in that. Well, actually, I'm not getting the frame drops now. I'm not sure what the problem was. Anyway, in the next episode, I will go over things like diplomacy and research, and maybe even ship designs, just to teach a bit more about the game. But I hope you guys enjoyed this first episode. Thanks so much for joining me, and I'll see you next time.